The Pebbles Kitchen reached a milestone of 1 million meals served this week. All the meals were served during 8 months of lockdown through the emergency feeding scheme. The project works to improve the lives of children in the Western Cape farming communities. For more on this important milestone, joining us via Zoom is Dominic Johnson-Allen, a consultant for the Pebbles Kitchen. Dominic, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Good evening, Simpiwe.
What does it take to make 1 million meals, Dominic?
It takes a lot of effort, a lot of laughter, a lot of thinking on the fly, and basically rolling your sleeves up and getting a good team of people around you and getting stuck in, which is what we had to do at sort of the beginning of April, when we realized that there were a lot of people going hungry.
So which areas did you cover through the emergency feeding scheme, and how were these areas selected?
So we're based just outside of Stellenbosch, very much in an agricultural area. There's a lot of wine farmers around there. And consequently, we were made aware of the huge numbers of seasonal workers that almost lost their jobs overnight. And because these guys were predominantly being paid by the day or by the week, food was a massive problem straight away for many people from the Stellenbosch, Franschhoek valleys. And those were the communities that we jumped in to help.
I would imagine there's thousands of other communities which needed your help, and it must have been quite a difficult task selecting some communities over others, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes, it was, very much so. And it's obviously a heartbreaking process for any of us that are involved in this feeding sector. But what we tended to do was we're very much a food production facility. We were producing food parcels, we were cooking meals, and we were making soup. And what we did was we sought out partners, other charities, other community groups that were very much active on the ground, working with the community members themselves. And we partnered with these guys, and they then were responsible for finding the really needy members within their communities and making sure that the right people got the food.
Take us through how the meals were distributed, Dominic. Did they have to gather at a certain place, or you distributed them?
So what we did was we distributed to the sort of heads of the community or to the designated members of different charities, okay, and they would then distribute in a manner of different ways. So the one thing that was amazing was that everybody, as best they could, tried to observe all COVID protocols. Mm-hmm. And it was wonderful to see huge lines of little kids, all with their masks on, trying to keep 2 meters away from each other, queuing up, waiting with their sort of bowl for a nice warm bowl of stew. So different organizations and different communities did it in different ways, and it would depend on the facilities that they had. If they had a central community hall, then they may be able to use that. Otherwise, some of them actually just used volunteers to take food parcels, for example, and drop them door to door. So there were a variety of different ways to make it convenient and suitable for wherever they operated.
And how, I beg your pardon, how has the demand for the meals been like since the start of the lockdown in late March till now?
We're definitely seeing a bit of a slowing down now. Okay. I think what's happening now is there was obviously a massive demand for food that was impacted by the COVID lockdown. What we're kind of grappling with now is, as a lot of those people that were sitting at home and unable to work, as a lot of those guys now go back to work, we're now obviously becoming more aware of the many people that are unemployed and hungry and desperate for food that's got nothing to do with COVID. So it's a very tricky scenario that we all find ourselves in now, because none of us like to say no, but at the same time we don't have we don't have pockets that are full of money to carry on giving food away forever. So it's a very tricky scenario at the moment.
Yeah, and the Pebbles Project, Dominic, was established in 2004, wasn't it? And what are the other areas of interest in terms of support for the needy? And are you partnering with anybody or any other organization to sustain your interventions?
So the Pebbles Project was predominantly set up for education support, and the project has grown over the last number of years to facilitate ECD, so early childhood development centres, and after-school clubs on around 52 different centres from the Hellenada Valley, which is near Hermanus, through to Stellenbosch, Wellington and Citrusdal. So it's education, it's nutrition through the Pebbles Kitchen. They have mobile toy libraries, they have mobile computer classrooms, they have a clinic, so there is healthcare provided. There are social services available from consultants. So it's quite a holistic charity that looks after the children right from the first 1,000 days through until sort of the age of about 24. And as the charity grows, then partners are brought on board for specialist services. So, like I say, we partner with sort of social service teams that can help in areas of real extreme need and sort of special needs with some of the children. But on the whole, the charity has grown to try and deal with everything in-house. And that is how the Pebbles Kitchen was created.
Just how often do you distribute these meals? Is it on a daily or a weekly or perhaps a regular basis? And will you continue with that momentum moving forward?
So yes, we do. We deliver on a daily basis. We, as a facility, I mentioned that we do both food parcels, which of course are dried meals and dry packets and fresh veg. So those we would do on a daily basis. The meals that we actually cook, and that's the real sort of day-to-day day job of the Pebbles Kitchen, is to produce cooked food. They are all blast chilled, frozen, and we distribute them frozen. So it means that when we're delivering to areas like Citrusdal, which is a good 2.5 hours drive, we would only take a delivery there every sort of 3 weeks. It's not possible to do it on a daily basis. So so we do have deliveries every day, but that allows us to cover quite a big area geographically so that we can service as many people as possible. So what we're looking at now, the Pebbles Kitchen, as I mentioned, is focused predominantly on a nutrition program for children. And not only do we provide Pebbles Kids, but we have other charities and NGOs that we work with. And we are growing that number as quickly as we can to make sure that particularly children in early childhood stages are getting food. And if an organization is able to contribute financially to those meals, that's great. But at the moment, there's a lot of strain in the ECD sector because parents are sending their children into these centres. They can't necessarily afford to pay their school fees. And so these centres are unable to afford food for them. So we're trying to step in. We still have some funds and resources left over from the lockdown, and we're really trying to help these little kids where nutrition and mental and physical growth under the age of 5 is so important.
The Pebbles Kitchen is doing quite an amazing job, Dominic, and I suppose there are thousands of South Africans who may want to lend a hand towards seeing this initiative sustaining itself. So those who want to give a helping hand and help out to this initiative, how do they go about doing that?
The easiest way for everybody to get more information and to learn about what we're doing, both in terms of the charity as a whole and the Pebbles Kitchen, is just to pop onto our website, which is the Pebbles with an S, pebblesproject.coza. And there you'll have links to all of our social platforms, and there are contact boxes and phone numbers, and you'll be able to get in touch with me personally. And we're always looking and always so willing and so grateful to have people come to help us in whichever way you can. So please do reach out if you'd like to help. We're always looking to support more education centres. We're always looking at working with new food partners that are able maybe to help us with food donations. And of course, I know that everyone's getting tired and donor fatigue is setting in from a financial perspective, but we always can do so much more with more financial donations. So that is always very welcome, of course.
All right, Dominic, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Correct.
All right, there we go. That was Dominic Johnson-Allen, a consultant for Pebbles Kitchen, which was celebrating, a huge milestone. They celebrated 1 million meals that have been distributed to the needy this week. And that's a wrap of this hour of The Globe and SABC News. We'll be back at the top of the hour. This is The Globe. Thank you so much for watching.